everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have something to admit. I was wrong. In case you didn't hear me, I was wrong. Don't tell anybody, but I was wrong, okay? So this is going to be a video about American Horror Story. They're doing that two-part season event this year. And the first part just finished on Wednesday night. And I finally watched it yesterday. And if you haven't seen it, I think it's the last video I did a prediction about American Horror Story and what I thought was going to happen. Well, I was right, but I was also wrong. So the last episode didn't prove everything. It was like the episode before that. So this is the second to last video. So there is going to be spoilers, guys, so you're being warned. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're still here, this is your fault. Okay, so American Horror Story, part 1 finished. And I had predicted, if you don't remember, that the mother would take the pill while she was pregnant with the baby, and the baby would have the talent, and then after she had the baby, she would turn into a mindless vampire zombie creature. Well, I was wrong. So the part I'm wrong about is she had the baby before she took the pill. And I really thought that the birth scene or leading up to it would be more dramatic. But really it just opened up the episode that she's at the hospital, she's giving birth to the baby. And it shows the father really struggling with being around the blood because he drinks blood now. So that wasn't really what I thought would happen, but oh well. So then they bring the baby home, and there's issues about, apparently newborn blood is a very, it's a delicacy to them, I guess, and it's the best because it's clean, it's new, literally. So the mom finds the daughter sucking on the baby's leg, like she bit the baby's leg and was sucking on its blood. That's what she found. And I guess she had a lot of blood loss, and she was still bleeding enough that she was almost always out of it. Like, she could not function. Like, every time we saw her, she's basically unconscious in bed, and she's like on an IV at home. And she like wakes up long enough to feed the baby, and that's it. So she wakes up and finds the daughter sucking on the baby's leg. And I think the baby would have cried more, so that was a little underdone. She just heard the baby whimper like once, and like she walks in and the daughter's sucking on the baby's leg. It was kind of weird. And so they gaslight her and convince her that she dreamed it because she's on too many meds. And I guess that could work, but it didn't work very long. She did find that there's a bite mark on her kid's ankle, which I'm like, well, why didn't you go straight there and show them? But they convinced her that, like, that was, like, something from the hospital. Like, the nurse did at the hospital. Okay, it looks like a bite mark. So she is basically being convinced by everybody around her that she's going nuts. And they're convincing her, oh, you have postpartum depression, and you're having a bleeding problem right now, so you're not really with it. So you're imagining these things. And the husband's, what would they call her? Agent, sorry. The husband's agent staying there to help with the baby. I don't know why she was there other than they needed her later on in the story, so she just stuck around. Really, that's what I think it was. It was convenience for the plot. But she was there, and the daughter has really gone downhill. Like, she's doing great with her piano, oh my goodness, violin. But she's determined to get her mother to take the pill, and it's to the point where she's convincing her, like, she's trying to trick her mom to take it. So one time she brings her the pill with her other pills, and she's like, well, Dad, why don't you take your meds? Dad, why don't you take your meds? Take them, take them, take them. And the mom looks at the pills, and the black pill, it looks red to me, but they said it's a black pill. Oh well. She says, what is that med? And she's like, Dad just says to take them. It must be a new one. Take it. And then she I think she calls the husband in, and she finds out that the daughter was trying to get her to take the meds. And basically, that was all that most of the episode with her was the daughter constantly trying to convince the mom to take the meds. And finally it comes down to the point where, like, the dad's like, we're not on these meds anymore, you can't try to eat your brother's blood, you can't convince your mom to take the meds, and the daughter basically says, why, are you afraid it's going to come out that mom's not good? Or, like, she has no talent? And, like, of course Dad gets mad, but it's, like, the daughter's basically saying what no one else wants to say, that I said last episode, which was that she has no talent. It was very clear she had no talent. So, they keep going back and forth about the pills, and finally the daughter comes in to the mom when she's, like, resting or something, and the daughter says, you know, you and I both know you suck, and you know that you're not getting anything done with this, project around the house. And even before that, like, the husband had called in, like, a interior decorator to help her, basically do it for her. And she walked down the stairs, and she overheard the decorator saying, like, these choices are horrendous. Why would she pick these? This is absolutely ugly. I thought you said she's a designer. She's horrible. And she heard that. She overheard that, and she made the guy go away, and it doesn't matter. So anyway, she convinces the mom. She says, look, you need to prove them wrong. Show them that you have a little talent. I believe in you. I don't know if Dad does, but I totally believe in you. And I think you need to take these meds because it's worth it. So she didn't take the meds to be a good designer. She took them to prove a point to her daughter that she's worth something, I guess, because basically that's what the daughter was implying. She was trying to make it sound like it's other people, not her. But the daughter's multiple times has said to her father, we don't need her, we just need to get rid of her. She brings us down. And so she convinced the mom to take it, and the mom takes it. And it shows her being like everybody else, and she's drawing, and she's trying to do designs. And then all of a sudden, she makes a mistake. And she's erasing it, and she keeps on erasing and erasing and erasing, and she can't get it right. And then something else happens, I forget, but her hair starts falling out. And that's when she discovers that she's turning into one of them. And it eventually becomes the point where she is crazy, and they have to lock her in the bathroom because she tried to attack the baby. And she was trying to attack somebody else. I think it was the agent. I don't know. So they locked her in the bathroom, and they finally released her out into the city. So it was kind of like releasing an animal out of captivity. That's what it reminded me of. It was like they took in a baby deer, and then when it was better, they shoved it out the door and said, bye. That's what it seemed like. And, like, she'd walk around, and, like, they keep an eye on her. Like, the husband's constantly looking for her outside. Oh, I thought I saw her. And the daughter's like, give it a rest. So Mommy Dearest is now one of the pale, bald people. And she just lives at the cemetery now. Whatever. And episodes before that, we did get to see, like, the history of, like, how the pill was made, and we get to finally get to meet the chemist, and how she made relationships with the older lady and Evan Peters, and just how she started getting clients, and how some were taking the meds and were able to take them, and some were rejecting the meds. And then we did see Sarah Paulson take the meds, and we don't know if it worked or not. That's interesting. I guess it's up to interpretation. My thoughts on that. So, Sarah Paulson had a decision because her boy toy, he took the meds and he's becoming rich because his screenplay finally came out. And he's driving this fancy new car and everything. So, boy toy pulls up. Sorry, I know that's not his name, but that's what I'm going to call him. He pulls up and he asks, do you want to ride? And she said, yeah. And she wanted to go to the beach to paint. And so he's trying to convince her to take the meds, and she's like, no, I'm not going to take them. She's like, I'm gonna get off my meth. I'm gonna get clean. I'm going to do all these things. And because she's just recently been confronted by the lady that has been basically keeping her safe from these zombie creatures. And the lady told her, you have to get the new baby that was born. Bring him to me. I'm going to drink his blood. And she didn't want to do it anymore because she's already did it earlier in the season. And she said, I can't do it anymore. I don't want to be responsible for that. So she's decided she's going to get clean because she's going to kidnap this baby and take care of it. And Boy Toy's like, that's not going to work. Which he's correct. Most times when you're an addict, that's not why you get clean, and it's not going to work for very long. You have to do it for yourself. So she's like, oh no, I'll do it for the baby, and so that way I can be its mother. And she's crazy. So anyway, the Boy Toy takes her somewhere. Oh, she's upset because he keeps pushing her to take the meds, and she said, no, I'm not going to take them. So he puts in her position where, since she won't get the baby for the older lady, the truth's off. So like the zombie people can go after her now because she was like a rule that they couldn't go near her. And so even though it was implied that was a thing, but I don't know if that's true because she was still scared of them. So I don't know. But anyway, so Boy Toy gets her in a position where she's sitting on this porch door, and they're coming after her, and they're going to kill her, and she has a pill in her hand. He says, either you let them kill you, or you take the pill. And she's like, I'm dead either way. And he's like, exactly. He's like, if you think that you don't have the talent, then let them kill you, or you can take the pill and let that kill you. And she said, I don't want to become one of those things. So she takes the meds, and it was like instant. Like as soon as she put it in her mouth, they acted like they couldn't see her. So she was invisible instantly. And so she took it, and she goes to the beach to paint, and I think she kills the Boy Toy. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. So she takes... Yeah, she went to the beach, and I think she killed him on the beach because he wanted to kill some other people, and she said no. I think she killed him. Don't quote me on it. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so she's painting, and this was going to be her final masterpiece, because that was the conversation they were having, is make this painting be your last known painting for yourself. Always treat your best art, always treat your art like it's your last art, so it's always your best. So she paints it. We never get to see it. If we saw it, it was like quick flash, so we never got to see if it was good or not. So we don't know if she was actually talented or that she was going to turn into one of those creatures, because she gets up and then she unalives herself, because they can't use the proper word on YouTube apparently. So she becomes unalive from her own decisions and actions, and she goes into the ocean, and we never see her again. So we don't know if the meds worked on her or not. And so that was something that I was talking to some friends about. I'm like, what do you think? Do you think that she was talented or not? And I want to think that she was. I want to think that she saw the painting and she realized that this is the best I've done. And this is where it's going to end, because now I know I'm going to become one of them. I'm going to become the greater of the two evils. So there's the two evils of... You can become this lifeless zombie who just wants to eat constantly, or you become one of the people that hunts other people and kills them so that they can become more powerful and successful in life. And she was adamant that she didn't want to become that. So I think she was going to become one of them, and that's not what she wanted. So that's why she unalived herself. That's my opinion. I think that it's one of those things, like The Last of Us, will never know when Joel's watch actually broke. But that's just my opinion. I think that would be the better storyline. I don't know. So we leave it at a very interesting end of the season, or series, I guess it's technically a series, where the daughter kills the dad, the Evan Peters and the old lady are killed, the chemist, the agent, the daughter, and the baby move to California. The agent's pushing pills on, like, everybody that she can find that might have, like, an ounce of talent. And she even admits that. She's like, if they have, like, something written on a computer at Starbucks, I'm giving them a pill. And there's, like, targets on police officers that have had questionable pasts with decisions as far as, like, how they treat certain people. And we find out the chemist is targeting those kind of cops for the pills, knowing they probably won't work, so they turn into zombie people, and then they're getting executed because they're attacking people. It was almost like leading up to, like, a zombie movie, because all of a sudden you just have these people, like, attacking other people. And, like, the agent lady goes to, like, this seminar, and it's a writing seminar, and she convinces everyone in the seminar to take the pill, and almost all of them go crazy. And that was interesting. It's implied that they just live in California and things are good, and that's basically the end. I liked it. It was a good season. I'm doing better. I've realized this. I'm doing better with things being shorter. I do not seem to survive the entire seasons of American Horror Story. Like, the idea can be great. It can be so interesting to me. But after, like, 6 episodes, I've lost interest. And it's mostly because them doing half and half has been where they actually have to tell it faster. They don't BS over things for an hour that they don't have to. Like, they did give us background stories, so they didn't rush it, but they also didn't, like, drag it out longer than it had to be. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that it was only 6 episodes, because it was actually something I could follow, and it wasn't overly complicated. I enjoyed it. So this is one of my favorite seasons. It's the first season in a long, long time that I've actually finished. I honestly never finished season 1 till, like, a couple years ago, and that is, I was watching on Netflix after it was already said and done, because I just never finished it. And it was a good ending. I wish I would have saw it originally, but I lost interest. So I enjoyed that it's shorter. I don't think that this is what they're going to do next year. I'm thinking that they did this because of COVID and they didn't have one last year. So, like, this was, like, last year's choice, and this year's choice is the second version that's coming out, which is the aliens. I don't know. But I liked it. I liked that it's short. I don't know what other people think about it, but I liked it because it helped me get through it, and it was interesting to me. Speaking of characters on American Horror Story, Sarah Paulson is in the show Impeachment with President Bill Clinton's story with Monica Lewinsky. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie, I'm enjoying it. Now, this is going to date me a little bit. I was like 4 when this was happening, so I didn't know much about this. I knew of Monica, but I didn't know much about the situation, what was going on, just what I've heard as I've gotten older. So it's been interesting to see things that were happening when I'm like 3 and 4, and like I think in a timeline I'm like 4.5, 5 in real life at this point. So I wasn't living it, so it's been interesting to see things that were going on that I didn't know about. As far as, like, government-wise, it didn't really matter. But it's been interesting. I'm assuming most of it is accurate, but it's a show, so they're gonna mess around with things. But anyway, Sarah Paulson's in it, and she's unrecognizable. The only way I knew it was her voice. And there's a lot of people on there that are playing, and their faces have been altered, like, with cosmetics to, like, add, like, a rounder face or a bigger nose. So they're trying really hard to make these people look like the real people, which is what they did when they did, because this is American Crime. And American Crime, the last time their biggest show was for O.J. Simpson, which was another one I didn't know much about, so that was cool. That's a good one if you haven't seen it, by the way. You should watch it. Really good acting. And it has John Travolta in it. I forget his name, but the guy on radio was on it. So Check it out. It's good. So I knew Sarah was going to be in it, but I didn't know who she was playing. And it took me like half the episode. I'm like, I know that voice. Who is that? And it's her. And oh my gosh, guys, if she doesn't have an Emmy already, she needs to get one before she gets lung cancer. She has been smoking in every show I see her in. She's smoking. She's going to get lung cancer before she gets an Emmy. And she's good. So please, please, please give her an Emmy before she dies. Because she smokes like a chimney in almost every show I see her in. But to look at her from American Horror Story, where she's this strung out drug addict, to this lady that works at the Pentagon that just is manipulative and hates the world and hates her life. She's like two different people, and like I said, the only way you know it's her is her voice. You kind of see like her movements and her mannerisms as you watch it, but it's so confusing to watch because it's like, that's Sarah, but it doesn't look like Sarah. It's honestly a tad distracting to me, but that's just because I'm a fan of Sarah Paulson, so I don't know if it would be distracting for everybody else. So, like I said, there were spoilers for American Horror Story. If you like it, let me know. I'm curious to see what the aliens are going to be like next Wednesday. I'm actually glad that we don't have to wait, so it's like instantly next. It looks like it's going to be half black and white and half in color, so that's interesting. I am currently playing Plague Tale Innocence. It's an indie horror game. I plan on finishing it tonight or tomorrow. So after I finish the game, I'll talk to you guys about that. I think that's going to be my I did this so you didn't have to episode or video. So I played a Plague Tale Innocence so you didn't have to. And I'll talk about what I thought about it and the storyline. So stay tuned for that. I hope you guys are having a great day. The weather is absolutely beautiful outside in Ohio, so I hope if you have beautiful weather that you take a chance to enjoy it. Be safe, make good decisions, wear a mask, don't be a rat licker. We gotta get through things together, guys, and unfortunately sometimes that means that we need to follow the rules. So I personally want to be able to go and do things next summer. So please, please, please be safe and think of each other and be considerate. Slow down, pay attention, relax. You got this. Have a great day, guys. Bye.